So Karen, good Q4 results from Cognizant today. I mean, what are we seeing out there? I mean, and what are we seeing overseas?
Sure. So thank you for having me this morning. So, we had a very good Q4. We had 3% sequential growth. The year ended exactly as we expected it to. And going into 2013, we've guided to at least 17% growth this morning. We believe we have a strong pipeline. Our backlog is good right now. And I think we're very optimistic about the year. We will continue to drive industry-leading revenue growth this year. In particular, one of the things that we're seeing is we really feel that the worst may be behind us in Europe.
Right.
So Europe had a very nice sequential growth going into Q4. We think it will continue to be lumpy growth in Europe, but we're starting to see a lot of traction around customers really looking to change their business model in Europe. And in particular, the change that we started to see in the second half of last year was customers really focusing on moving towards core, what we would call traditional outsourcing or application maintenance services versus discretionary spend where they had typically been in the past, and we expect that that will continue.
That's really interesting. I mean, and, is there a perception out there that maybe, as an outsourcing specialist, that Cognizant fares better in weak economies? So, is an improving economy bad news for Cognizant?
So, it's interesting for us. We can benefit in both environments. And in a down economy, as you see in a recession and so forth, what you see is clients really looking to optimize their spend and really drive efficiency and effectiveness. But when the economy picks up, as you're starting to see now, you will tend to see more discretionary spending. Now, the big question mark for us this year is, within a client's budget, are they trying to just shift dollars between discretionary spend and business as usual, or is there some incremental spend, and that will obviously play out as the year goes on?
And what about key trends we're seeing? I mean, I believe that you do a lot of work now around social media, analytics, cloud, that type of thing.
So last year we talked about changing the business and running it in what we call our Horizon 1, our Horizon 2, and Horizon 3 businesses. So Horizon 1 is our core application development maintenance business. Horizon 2 is our new services, so consulting, BPO, infrastructure services, which is really where a lot of the growth in the business is coming from right now. And then we talked about Horizon 3, which is almost our incubation group. And that is comprised of a number of things, including what we call the SMAC stack, which is social, mobile, analytics, and cloud. And while it's very small dollars, we're actually starting to see a lot of traction there much faster than we anticipated. And the interesting thing there is it's really about a different relationship with a client, because you are really transforming their business. And also importantly, you're working in many cases with the chief marketing officer and the business people, which certainly expands the range of services for us and expands our relationship within a customer.
And I believe that you've been quite busy in the acquisition space. I mean, how is that going to impact what happens for you in next quarter and next year?
Sure. So we've talked about two acquisitions this morning. One was the Medical Group, which we closed in Q4. It's a small healthcare provider in the BPO space. It's primarily nursing staff doing medical management, primarily in the Philippines. And then the second acquisition we've talked about is the C1 Group, which we expect will close late in Q1. And that is a European acquisition, primarily Germany and a little bit in Switzerland. It's about 500 professionals that will be joining us, and they operate across a range of industries, do a lot of consulting and SAP work. So we're very excited about having both of those organizations join Cognizant and really help us continue to build out our capabilities around the globe.
And I think a lot of people might be surprised by the actual scale of the workforce at Cognizant. It's what, is it over 156,000?
Over 156,000 people, yes.
And how many of those are actually in the US?
So we have about 25,000 people typically in the US. We added net new heads of 19,000 worldwide last year. So we continue to grow our headcount at a rapid pace around the globe. We had very low attrition last year in Q4. It was just over 10%. Among the industry-leading companies from an attrition perspective, and we're very excited about that.